world needs. We need your passion. We need your authenticity. We need you to get mad. We need you to get messy. We need you to get raw. We need you to get real. Speak your story. Speak your truth. Let that light in. Be the light. We need to create change. And the only way we can do that is being authentic. Welcome back to another week of The Layla Show with me, your host, Layla Ziari, featuring all sorts of beautiful guests and beautiful people from all over the world who are coming together for one purpose, to share their stories, speak their truth, and create a conscious, unified community, one conversation at a motherfucking time. Real, raw, unfiltered. The Layla Show. Welcome back to another week of The Layla Show. This week we are talking to Zahra Adloo.
Adloo.
Fucked up your name. I'm Iranian. I have no fucking excuse to butcher these.
No, it's totally fine. Like it's not common. We don't hear it. It's not like a Joe Smith or a Bob Billy. It's fine.
But you are a clinical psychotherapist, trauma and addiction specialist, body dysmorphic disorder expert, psychedelic integration coach, and Ibogaine facilitator, which I've never, I love psychedelics. I think I've healed my entire brain chemistry through my own exploration of psychedelics in my youth that I had no business experimenting with, to the point that I did, tried microdosing, macrodosing, all the things. But I've never heard of Ibogaine.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to tell you all about it. It's the strongest psychedelic out there. It lasts in your body longer. The whole trip is 3 days, and that's unheard of, right? You're it's 3 days. It's literally in you, and you don't know it's out of your system until you stop seeing these frequencies, which I call them the squigglies. So whenever you look around, you'll see white squiggles everywhere.
Like that. I like the squigglies. They sound like friendly frequencies.
Yes. It's really cool. You're basically given something called a flood dose. And what that is, it's just a large amount of the Ibogaine. And that's derived from a root bark of a tree. So it's actually from Africa. They've been doing this practice for centuries. We are now just 50 years in discovering what it is on the West Side. And so, they take this Ibogaine plant, or this alkaloid from a plant called Iboga, and you ingest it in a flood dose, which then, lasts in your body for 72 hours. But the peak experience is at 8 to 12. So you're going to be nauseous, you're going to throw up a little bit. And then what's really, really fascinating is that you get to see your life and all the roots to your trauma and your experiences, like a projector in front of you. So it's like watching a movie, and you're just taking a back seat. You're fully aware what's going on in your body. If someone walks in, you're able to have a conversation. It's totally fine. But you're just watching your life unfold in front of you. And then the music calms you down a little bit, because you do become a little bit more sensitive. You get a little bit weak in your body for a few hours. But what's really, really interesting out of all of this is that you don't sleep for those 3 days.
Oh, wow.
You don't sleep, but you're not tired. And you don't eat, but you're not hungry. And then when it's out of your body, you have already processed maybe over 1,000 thoughts that were repressed, emotions that were repressed, and you feel like you're a brand new baby. Your face even changes, you're glowing, and you just want to tackle life, and you feel so empowered. And that doesn't go away in just a few hours. It lasts in your body for up to a month.
Well, it takes 30 days to make a habit, and I feel
exactly. Oh my God, I'm so glad you brought that up, because the integration and what you do afterwards is what helps you stick, because you're already developing new neural connections in your brain, because your brain is neuroplastic, and you're always able to form new habits, learn new things. And so you have a whole month to take your life and tell yourself that you want to start a new routine. You want to cope differently in your life and handle certain stressors differently. And you just have to follow them, and it ends up sticking. But if you don't, then yeah, you're going to end up going back to whatever caused you to go, get to your treatment in the first place, which for most people has been addiction, like drugs, gambling, just harmful things that don't last. And there's like no judgment there, right? Like I don't judge anybody who does drugs or anything like that. I think those are just parts of us that want to help like get rid of or manage symptoms that come up from our life stressors. So
Right. So much of that is just like disassociation and just needing to escape into
exactly.
gambling too. Like it was even like I'm like a borderline shopping addiction and thrifting.
Me too. I had that.
It's not even borderline. It's like it's completely there, but like I just feel like that's not something I even want to deal with because I think it's a fun addiction to have. But it's like even that, like I do that to make me happy and like be the instant gratification thing because they feel like even like when you're in a good place in your life, like obviously I'm in a pretty good place in my life and I'm not gonna like go be a drug addict, but I need that instant gratification because a lot of goals that we work towards long term just like are not instant gratification-y and like
Right.
that's just really
You have to wait.
and like, but I can go to the thrift store and find something really epic and like be happy. So
Yeah. Oh my God. Not just that. Like Amazon, dude. Amazon is
girl,
got us.
Amazon feeds the like immediate need because that shit is there like
In
right
2 days.
now.
I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, I totally agree. Like before I had my own personal treatment with Ibogaine, I was buying something every single day. And I can remember doing that since I was like 14, even if it meant like I walked to the store and bought like a piece of gum or something for my hair. I had to buy something every single day. And when I noticed it, because when I would move to like a new spot and I got my home, I was so overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that I had. I literally like I paid my friend to do all the moving for me. I was like, please, you pack, you do all that because I just don't want to face the fact that I've bought so much and I have so much.
I get it.
So,
I get it.
yeah. So I mean, since then, like since my treatment, it's definitely let me think about this. I still buy stuff, but it's not impulsive anymore.
That's
I
good.
definitely changed. Yeah.
That is good. I find myself without the treatment, just I've treated myself in that and I find myself less impulsively buying, but it's still definitely my addiction. But
Yeah.
I like, do you facilitate this 3 days? Like how to like so you sit with someone for
Yeah,
3 days.
I would say so it's really important because I'm glad that you asked this question. So I do preparation work with the client. I talk to them about what they need to expect, what lifestyle changes they want to see for themselves, what their intentions are. I give them a rundown of what they'll feel in their bodies and, what the outcome would be like. And then I partnered with a clinic in Mexico. So I'll either go with them or if they go by themselves, I introduced them to that whole clinic that consists of a doctor who's been in this industry for 15 plus years, nurses on like on the floor 24 hours a day. And then everybody else that's hanging around is a therapist. So they're all trauma informed, which is so important. I remember when I got my first Ibogaine treatment, the woman, like I felt physically safe with the treatment, but she was not trauma informed and she just didn't know how to talk properly. So she said some things to me where I was like, wow, I'm glad that I'm a therapist, but if you were to talk like that to someone else, that is really like it's messed up. Like you can't talk like this, So it's really, really important that people know what they're saying and that they're trained. So that's the process. When they're there, they stay for a week. So depending on what drugs you're on, if you're just doing it for OCD, depression, or just spiritual cleanse, you're there for like 5 days or 7 days at the max. But if you're, let's say, a fentanyl addict or on heroin, you're going to be there for about 2 weeks.
Right.
Just because
So
they have to dose you differently. Yeah. And then when you leave, what I do again is I follow up with the patient and I help them with the integration, which involves like making meaning out of their experience and their visuals and whatever they got, and then really holding them accountable for the things that we talked about in their prep session, to make sure that they like follow through, which I will say compared to other psychedelics, I don't have a problem with, because when you do an Ibogaine treatment, triggers and rewire certain things in your brain that actually push you to be driven and want to like do more. So
That's so important because I found
really,
like when I started experimenting with psychedelics, obviously like no clinic, I was just freeballing it, living off the grid and like eating psychedelics every day in different doses and different times and different forms. But it's like you have like these pivotal like aha moments, and then like eventually you don't need the drugs to have those moments, but like the sensation and the urgency kind of fades away. And it's like
yeah,
and you're
exactly.
left like at the end of it with kind of this panic and existential dread of like, okay, I get it. I've seen the light. I know what I need to do, but how the fuck? Like my brain is not like
Yeah, yeah.
computing how I put that into action, which is obviously good because you probably should not do what I did and like not have someone to like also talk to about these things and go rogue, which I of course
Well,
did.
we like didn't know, like this is like now
No. Yeah.
surfacing, right? Like we didn't know. I did my first ever psychedelic taking ayahuasca. And like when I tell people that, they're like, "What? Like you went full, like you just went off the grid. You just went wild with that because it's so strong." But yeah, I didn't know. And it took me 3 years just to process what I experienced because I didn't have a guide. I didn't have someone like telling me what I need to go through or what I need to do to change. So it was me just like figuring it out on my own. But like, yeah, it gives you this long period of time to like want to be action oriented and do the things that you want to do. If anything, I tell my clients like you with any major life decisions, just write it down because you're going to want to do everything and you're going to feel like you're on the top of the world and you might just make like too many big decisions like too fast, you know?
As somebody who likes to change her entire existence in a millisecond, I can say that that's not a sustainable fucking way to live, and we can't do too much too fast. We have to temper our expectations and also like not do it all too fast because that's how you fuck around and take a lot of years to get to the thing that you wanted in the first place because you just shoot yourself in the foot by trying to get it all at once.
But you know what? Like, I actually respect that a little bit, though. Like, I'm not saying I think being in between two extremes is great, but that it just says that like you're fearless and you're not, you're not afraid to take risks. Like, and
1,000%.
you just do it, right? And I think that that's what we were talking about before. That most people have all these ideas and plans of what they want to do, but then they get so stuck in planning it out because it has to be a certain way or it has to. But it's like, no, just do it.
Yeah,
Just
no,
feel like Nike and you'll get somewhere.
1,000%. But then there's like also like there's like a balance between the two though, because me doing it is such an extreme level. I feel like most decisions in my life like haven't been thought out at all. And I struggle when I get there a little bit harder than I would need to if I just like still did it impulsively, but maybe took like a few months to kind of like assess what I was gonna need for myself. But you know what? Like I would not do it any differently then, but I do it differently now, I guess is what I'm saying.
I think
Now
like as we get older, like our brain develops and like we're not as impulsive and like we can think through with what we want to do. Honestly, I don't blame any of us before the age of 27 with any of the decisions that we made because our brain's not like developed by then.
not at
It
all.
really isn't. Yeah. So like be impulsive, do the things. It's totally okay. I feel like we wouldn't be created that way if, we weren't meant to be taking these risks and being impulsive, you know?
It's so true.
It's
I'm
a
not like
learning.
again, like maybe society should take a page from my book and be a little bit more impulsive. I need to be a little
Yeah.
less. Most people
That's
probably
how
need to
you
be
learn.
more, you
Yeah.
know.
Throw
Yeah, I
yourself out
do.
there and and see what you get from it, you know?
I think that's literally so important. And like also I wholeheartedly believe in following whims. That doesn't matter what it is. Like go fucking ride that whim into the sunset or into the depths of hell. Like whatever that whim takes you, either
Yeah.
way it's gonna be what you need. So like go
Yeah.
ride it out. Go ride it out.
I,
Let's see
I
what
love
happens.
I love that. Go do it, right? Yeah, write it out and don't like, always address whether you have like a fear, like stop limiting yourself. We live in this universe. I feel like there's so much abundance and people are so afraid and they don't take the risks. They don't want to take the actions. Like they hold themselves back and then they wonder why they're not where they want to be. And it's like, well, because you're not doing it. You're held back in your fears, So
Right. And
Yeah,
they don't see the abundance. They don't like see that.
no, they don't.
So
And
much
that's the thing,
fun.
like
I'm turning
life is,
around. Sorry, there's too
oh
much
no,
in my
totally fine.
face right now. It's like blinding me from behind. I'm like, I literally can't do it. Okay.
I love how it's bright over there. You have a lot of light, a lot of
Well,
stuff.
yeah, I'm staying with my family right now until I move back to California, and they just redid their kitchen, and it's just like a
Nice.
beacon of light.
Yeah.
So I still look really illuminated, but at least it doesn't hurt my brain now. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I love it.
Well, it's hurting. Now we get bananas in the background. Good.
It's beautiful. I love it.
This is a really
It
great
makes the
kitchen.
both of us. I'm here visiting my parents' house too in Delaware. So it's interesting that we're both on the East Coast at the same time, and then we're both heading to
When are you
LA.
going back west to LA?
Going back on the 18th, so this Saturday.
Here will
And I,
you?
yeah. We'll definitely have to meet up out there.
100%.
For sure.
We definitely have to. I don't know anybody out there really.
Yeah, I got you. I have a whole crew.
Oh my God, I need your crew because, like, yeah, I mean, I have like my people in the Bay Area, and none of them understand why I'm moving to LA. They're like, just come home, and I'm like, I don't want to. It's time to do something different. I've always wanted to live in LA, and like,
I
that's
love
just
that.
what it is. But of course, like, I feel like when I was younger too, going back to like younger, older, learning lessons, like I didn't care so much without like having people where I landed, but it does matter to me a little bit more now. Like,
Oh my God, it's so important. Like when
really
I and
important.
I mean when I first went to LA, I had I would say like one friend that like I was really close with. And then from there it grew. And I ended up like introducing her to to my new friends. And like now we're a whole crew.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, like I think if you feel settled somewhere and like you really you're set somewhere, you're gonna find the connections, especially in like a metropolitan area where most people or a lot of people are not from there. So
No,
they're
it's
also
not
looking
100%.
for new connections. Like you're not going to a small town where everyone's already like established, right? Like you're going somewhere like LA. So you'll be fine.
No, 1,000%. And I feel
Yeah.
like really good in the place that I'm at in my life and like my ability to not keep, like most of your life before back to trauma and stuff, before you really do work out the stuff. And drama's so interesting because you'll like look at it, you'll think you processed it, but like really not actually have processed it in that extent. And then like you realize that through the people you meet. So most of my life, it's just been like trauma bonding connections and like these karmic contracts of us to like teach us a lesson and stuff. And then like since I've kind of gotten over that, like I've just kind of been in hermit mode for like 2 years really, and like moved to France, like kind of played out like the last of those karmic cycles with people in France, and then like kind of literally been hermiting for a year and a half. And it's like, so I just think it's gonna be really interesting. And like I'm like, yeah, I want to like now, like I think there's so many times in my life too I wanted to move to LA. And there was something in my soul that like knew that was gonna be like home for me. So I like didn't want to go there till I was in a place where I wouldn't keep not like I want to meet the right people this time. I want to build a community that actually sticks. I didn't want to go out to my home and like go out and meet those connections and get myself in a similar situation and not be at the place I wanted to be at. When I built this community, I wanted to be the right one. I don't want to have these tainted, horrible experiences in the place I call home. But it's like, but I honestly, like, I don't know. Like, I know that's how it works. You attract those people, and I have a lot of really great friends that live nowhere near me. So I know I can attract those people, and I have great people on my podcast. But this is like the first time in life, like, I'm ever going to do it in humans. So it's gonna
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Wait, so you're gonna do this podcast in person?
No, I mean, maybe, yeah, why not? But I mean, like,
I mean, you're in LA, like you totally could. There's a whole studio called The Kin, and it's in Venice. And they literally have a whole podcast studio set up for you that you rent for the hour. And then they film it for you, they send it to you, and
that's so cool. I wasn't even thinking that, but like, yeah, I mean, like,
yeah, why not?
right, that would be a great way to like connect with people in real life because I just think it's so important. And I don't know, I've never really like had a place where I had a community that was like right there, My community is very like global and vast. So
I love that. I'm the same way though. Like I'm like everywhere. I live between LA, Puerto Rico, Delaware. I have a community in Puerto Rico. I have a community in LA. Delaware I've been out of for a while. So I like knew growing up here that I wasn't going to be here. So I
that's
keep
how I feel about Rhode Island.
Yeah, like I keep in contact with like my high school friends here and there, but like aside from that, I'm like, no, I'm just not meant for this town. It's too small.
Yeah.
Everywhere that you go, you know someone. That's
Yeah,
traumatizing
no.
too.
Is it like Rhode Island there too, where people just have never left? Because like I know
Yeah.
this is the first time I've like spent time in Rhode Island since I left home at like 19 years old. And yeah, no, I'm like, people just don't leave. I'm like, and this I haven't kicked it here since then. And it's like everybody I talk to, even like adults, are like, yeah, I've never really left Rhode Island. I'm like, it's
I
fucking
think
weird.
they're just content. I think if they want to go back or they feel like Rhode Island's their place, why not give yourself the opportunity to go somewhere different? This is where again we're talking about like fear. I think people are so stuck in their ways and they're so afraid of change. And so then it's like you and I come on and we're like, well, change and like not being in one spot is our norm. So like I'm afraid of like being in one spot
I'm
actually.
terrified of being in one place. I am genuinely like talk about I mean me. I have so many fucking fears. I'm terrified of like staying
Yeah.
stagnant.
And you know what else I'm afraid of? And it's like, I don't know. I feel like there's like shame talking about this, but as a woman, I'm afraid of having a child
Oh,
because
terrified.
the
That has
commitment.
nothing to do with the fucking commitment.
No, I just don't want to have to take care. I want to be this free soul that I am. And like I very much enjoy like being able to do whatever I want. And I'm 34 now and you would think that I would get shaken out of that by this age. And I'm like, no,
Okay, well that gives me relief that you're because I'm
I'm
31.
so afraid. It's like a nightmare for me.
Girl, I get that because I have these fucking idiots come talk to me. I'm so sorry. You're not idiots. I respect you. I don't respect your opinion in this aspect, people, but they'll be like, oh, just wait till you get in your elder 30s. You'll change your mind. I'm like, what the fuck if I don't? What if like some
Yeah,
people just aren't like, why do you assume just because I'm a woman I
exactly.
have to have some maternal instinct? Like,
Exactly. We don't. Our maternal or our instincts could be self-care and loving ourselves and wanting to enjoy life and seeing the
like
world,
having a community of like other regular people who think
Exactly.
like me. And then they're,
Exactly.
people have asked me, but what about your legacy? And I'm like, well, this is my legacy. I'm leaving behind an arsenal of fucking video treasures for the
Yeah, you
generations to
are.
come. And I
Yeah, you are.
published 2 books, bitch. I don't need a kid. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
and it's just like, it's
Exactly.
just that mentality of like, there's other ways to leave a legacy. There's other ways to have purpose. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like so like society feels like women's only purpose is to pop out babies. And I think that's absolutely asinine, preposterous, and disgusting.
I agree. I think it's so limiting. And I
It's
think it's so
so
messed up to give us an agenda just based on history and what, women have been able to do.
right.
It's no, we're living in a new age. And so with that, we have to evolve. And like yes, we're creators, but we can create anything. It doesn't have to just be a baby.
Oh,
We use that energy towards other things to create, like you said, you wrote 2 books, and that's fantastic. I mean, and I like to travel the world and I like to like connect, create community. And yeah, so it's just I'm really glad that you brought that up because I want women to know that like you do not have to like follow societal rules and expectations, and it doesn't make you any less of a woman or any more of a woman if you have a child or don't.
no, and it's like save it for the people who really want that because like I don't want that, and I would end up being a terrible fucking parent because I don't
Me
want it.
too. Talk about trauma. Like I would be traumatizing my child. Like, could you imagine? Like I would be like, deep inside, I'd want to say like I never wanted to have you,
And
and
I
then
hate you because you limit my experiences and
I
like I can't
know.
get on a goddamn plane because of your bitch ass. So
I
like, you know what I
know.
mean? It's like, why would I want that? Like, we need kids to grow up with nurture and like, oh god, it's just awful. It's just awful. Like,
It is.
people tell me all the time, they're like, you're being an amazing parent because of how you think in the world, and it's like. Yeah, my values that I would instill upon someone is great, but I would fucking hate that kid, and it wouldn't be
Yeah.
and it's honestly not fair because our children need empathy and love and compassion and to be wanted,
True.
Like,
Oh my God, 100%.
oh
So
my
I
god.
think we are doing a great job by knowing ourselves, like understanding what it is that we love and following our values and not letting other people's values and get instilled into our brain. Because then otherwise we're just followers. And I like to see myself as a leader. So I'm not following anybody's guide.
Oh, Me either. I mean, I might follow you and find your friend group, but other than
Oh yeah, no, I love that. When you're gonna love my friends. I feel it. They're gonna love you too. So I'm excited.
I'm excited. Wait, so like are you first generation Persian American as well? Okay.
I am. Yeah, yeah.
So like both parents or just one? Because my
Both
dad.
parents.
Okay.
How
How is
about
that like
you?
how yeah, just my dad. And like honestly, like we're not very close. We never and like so I don't like I love so many parts of the culture, but it was like never really integrated in my upbringing so much.
Oh, yeah.
So I just like, yeah, I want to hear your take on that. Like, and
Can I
also,
tell you something?
yeah,
My friend group, and this, I don't know how this happened because it was never my intention. I've always had a variety of always had diverse friends in my life. When I moved to LA, all my close friends ended up becoming they're all therapists and they're all Persian. And some of them have never actually been to Iran or anything like that.
I haven't. I know you.
Yeah.
Was that your first time?
No, I went, I used to go every summer as a child, and this was the longest. Yeah, yeah. I haven't been in 8 years, so it was the longest I hadn't been. But yeah, a lot has changed, and I'm used to going there. But will I ever want to live there? Absolutely not.
I do really want to visit, but it's like my family is all gone, so it's like I wouldn't even have
Yeah,
anybody to visit
right.
anyone, and like I have no fucking business, obviously, going there by myself. So.
Yeah, I would highly recommend for you not to do that unless you knew someone there because and here's the thing, this is like a part of life. But I've always been very independent. And when I went there, I realized like I couldn't be. There isn't an Uber where I can order and go somewhere by myself. There is like nothing, that we have a trade embargo. So, and the relations with the US are not great. So I couldn't really like get by and do the things that I'm used to doing in other countries when I travel because I didn't have those, resources. And on top of it, like a lot of things were blocked. So like I had to use a VPN to be able to like get on Instagram and WhatsApp. And it's like that was a headache in itself. And if I didn't know someone, they wouldn't be able to set that up on my phone that like worked in whatever filtering that they needed to do over there. So to be honest with you, I love the experience for my family, but I like could never, it's just not in my DNA and in my nature to depend and to like
No,
not.
it's very oppressive to not
Yeah.
be able to be independent and
Oh my God. Yeah. And so I like, I took that as a life lesson. I was like, it's okay to let go and surrender and let people do for you, especially during a time where like I had just lost my father and I was like grieving. But like, could I sustain like living there for long periods of time? I would go insane. It's just
no,
not for me.
I feel that way without ever having visited that like I just know it's very oppressive to women and that in and of itself means I could never fucking live there because
Yeah.
I would get killed pretty
Yeah.
quick probably
For
because
speaking up.
my mouth I can't shut my fucking mouth, so it's like and like I know I would have to somewhat be respectful, but like if I lived, I mean, obviously if I was traveling there, yeah, but like if no, I'd be killed on day one. I don't know how they like like no, absolutely the fuck not, like because I'm not gonna be quiet. I'm just not quiet.
I know. It's like I will say, like compared to other times that I've been there, given everything that's happened, the rules with like wearing the scarf and stuff were just not enforced. Like I saw people wearing belly shirts and stuff, which I was like shocked about. Yeah, I was like, oh my God. Not only are they like walking out with no scarf on, nobody's saying anything to them, but like they're also like showing a lot more skin. And so I was really like surprised about that. And I was like, well, this is progress. Like if this is where we're at now, hopefully in 10 years, like this whole regime is going to be gone and we'll have, we'll go back to like pre-Islamic era, so.
Too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's good to hear though, because I mean, like, I don't think we're very informed in this country about anything that really goes on in other countries, and I think it's so
We really don't know. Seriously, we don't. Like, I think we're given what we are meant to see or they want us to see.
Yeah, only the fabrication of whatever feeds their narrative and agenda.
Absolutely. And so I'm like, always trust your gut, your instincts. Even with people that come into your life, I'm like, you just don't know. And talking about that, like trauma and like relationships, I will say a lot of people in LA, from what I've witnessed, not all, I can't generalize, but people wear masks out there.
Really?
They don't present themselves for who they are, which is like
I mean,
it's
yeah. I mean,
it's
that's fair.
yeah, you get to see, like, you really get to see how much trauma and how much shame and self-esteem issues people have, because you're like, why would you lie about this? Or like, why would you hide this? And like, what would be the purpose? But it all goes back to like them not feeling good about who they are and like loving themselves for who they are and where they are in their life. So yeah, it's just the BS that like it just sucks out there when it comes to that. But
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't live in LA, but I can say that for everywhere I've lived in, really. I mean, I feel like people just
that's so true.
masquerade, but I do think it's a lot like more noticeable in big cities like that because
Yeah.
and especially cities like LA, which like love you LA, but super superficial on so many
Yeah.
aspects. I mean, you have the Hollywood aspect and just like what like LA is based upon is like kind of a made up la la land. So it's
And
like
you know what? You really do feel like you're in La La Land. I'll go to dinners and I'm like sitting next to like Mel Gibson and like I'm
Right.
just like, really? Okay. It's like it's so cool, but it's just it becomes a part of you, become numb to it after a while and you're just like, oh well, I am in my own movie right now. Like
right.
because I literally see these people in the movies and on TV, but like I'm in it now. So cool.
And I like that energy because we really are always in our own movies. So might as well just amplify that, I guess, because we are.
You're the main character. And like, that's why I'm so into mental health and like health in general, because like if you are not taking care of this vessel and you are not like being attentive and aware of what's going on, like you're also radiating that outward. So not only are you like rotting within and like harming yourself, but you're also passing that energy on out to the universe and to the people around you. So I'm like so into like biohacking and like just looking at whatever I can to make sure that my mental health is up to par and my health is up to par. And I think that's one of the things I really appreciate about LA culture, that even if it is superficial, most people really do care about their health and like they do want to stay fit.
1000%.
Yeah. And like we have health food stores that give us products that we wouldn't see in small towns, so
That's like one of my favorite things about California in general. Just like obviously I'm new to LA, so but like, but just the Bay Area, so many more like farmers markets, so many more like health spas, just like so much more accessibility to the things that I feel like you have to search a little harder for. Like, I mean, in Rhode Island, I mean, I think everywhere is getting a little bit more like awaken to like the necessity of that, but I know here like it's nearly impossible to find like a farmer's market or something like on the frequent you know what I mean? Health food stores are here, we have them, but they're not as like not as accessible. So I do love that about California because those things are so fucking important.
So important. I remember when I would go to the Bay Area a lot because I went to Palo Alto University. So I would go to like Carmel of the Sea, and like on the way there, I would like see so many different farms with so many specialties and like organic products. And I would like fall in love. I would go in there and buy everything and then literally like eat the whole bag while I'm in the car driving. It's so good.
Oh my God, my favorite like thing driving from the Bay Area to LA, because I would make that drive every month.
Oh, really?
Well, I used to stay in Malibu. Like, I had a friend in Malibu, but he moved back to France and he had an Airbnb, so he would discount it for me. I mean, I still paid him, but like for an Airbnb, so I would go every month. I would work for like 3 weeks and then take a week and come to Malibu every month. But like my favorite part about driving from there was all the farms and all like the organic cherries on the side of the road.
Oh yeah, I love that. Like, oh, it's so good. It just hits different,
you make me so excited to come home though.
Like, I'm excited for you to be here. But I actually don't know what you like. What is it that you do? You never really told me about.
No.
Oh. I love that.
People ask me, I'm like, what are you gonna do out here? I'm like, I just don't even ask me. I have no idea. I'm like, they're like, how are you gonna get an apartment? I'm like, I don't fucking worry about it. I worry about it, but like, I don't really know. Right now, I'm doing like, I just do a lot of gig work right now,
Okay.
dog sit, drive Uber, all this shit. I mean,
I love that.
I've had so many businesses in life. I just like, I'm not kind of doing anything right now with any of them because I'm just kind of in a transition. I still sell vintage clothes though. So like, I'll be doing that a
Oh, I
lot,
love
but
that. I love
I'll
that. I mean,
probably start
I've been
doing
on a
like,
sabbatical for almost 2 years. I take gigs here and there, but like, I think when you're talking about this, it's so undervalued. Like, if people have the chance to take the time off, you like create so much out of like, you find yourself and you really narrow down what it is that you want to do. And then I also think that like, there's so much creativity that stems from not being stressed and having like this rigid schedule, like
oh yeah.
just think that you're more relaxed. I've developed such partnerships with people and like I've done so much in this time that I've taken off and I can't like thank the universe enough for giving me this privilege because I wouldn't be able to see myself on a podcast. Like I used to be super, and that's just like one of the things. I used to be super shy to talk and like I would always like listen, which I still do, but like to actually share my experiences and my wisdom and stuff and the knowledge that I have, like I would like stumble and have like I would have like panic attacks. And now I'm like, all right, let's do it.
You don't get that vibe from you at all. You were like,
Exactly, right? But that's how far I've come. Like it's crazy. We talk about like starting somewhere, giving yourself some time, like just do it. And then you'll be at a place where like now, Layla, you're telling me you would never get that vibe from me.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you said earlier, you just kind of have to throw yourself into it. I mean, like, I'm
Oh,
still figuring out how the fuck I do this podcast because sometimes I just like feel like I show up so and just ramble so unintelligibly just because like I get so passionate about topics that I end up sounding like a bubbling fucking idiot because like I just like,
no.
get so emotional about things and I feel like, it's just like it's a learning process. Like sometimes I don't like hearing myself even. Like sometimes I don't show up correctly, whatever correctly is, and it's like I don't know, just
And
talking
now
anyway
I
now.
love that. You know why? I love your approach. I love the way you sound. I love everything about like this podcast because it really is allowing me to have like a free flowing conversational like dialogue with you. And I feel like way more comfortable. I think you like really hold space for people to just be who they are. And like versus like I will say I was on a podcast once where like this guy was highly educated, was a professor, and I was timid. I was sweating the whole time, and I was like, "This is not for me." Like, yes, I killed it, but like, I don't want to do that again because I'm drained right now. Whereas, like right
That's
now, I
really
feel like,
stressful because I feel like they'd be expecting you to like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I was knocking them out. But like I had to prepare, and it was draining. But like now, I just feel like this is flowing, and I like want to like challenge that thought that you have. Like, do not for a second doubt yourself. I think we all get in our own heads. I think
Oh,
we all like
1,000%.
we're
We're
our
our
own
own
biggest
worst
critic.
critic and enemy like 100% of the time.
Yeah, we're our own biggest critics, but like how many people listening to this podcast or how many people out there are actually doing it? How many people are actually like setting up the appointments and having these interviews and like meeting amazing people in their lives? I think it's very far. I mean, it's very like few.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're already like ahead and I would just like commend yourself for being this brave and putting yourself out. Being vulnerable is not a weakness. It's a
No, I
strength.
think it's our biggest strength. And I think like what you were saying too before, like it took me a long time to be able to be vulnerable like in public, but I do think it's the most important thing we can do. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I
It
keep
makes you more human, right? Like we are not to be perfect. We're not robotic. Like we're not an AI. You
no.
know, I this is who we are. And like I think it's more relatable to talk about how anxiety provoking it could be for someone to hear your voice or to like think about you a certain way. Yeah, it's tough. But like we're putting ourselves out there. Like regardless of what comes up for and I have body dysmorphic disorder.
Oh,
Like, my
thanks to you. I can't.
yeah, like my symptoms have dissipated since my treatment, but like I definitely am always thinking about how I'm being perceived, not just on a physical level, but on an intellectual level. And it's like, what is the purpose of beating ourselves up so much when we're doing the best that we can? We're always striving to do better. We're always striving to find life and like meaning, make meaning out of it. You've been living in France, you know, you've lived in Malibu in the Bay Area in Rhode Island. That's a lot more than what most people can say that they've done. Like to be able to adjust to different societies, to be able to like get by and like be independent, that's a big strength and it's so undervalued. Whereas like other people can like, and we both know, like we're both from small areas. Delaware is the second smallest state. You're the first, right? Like
I
I'm
didn't
like,
know you were the second smallest. I love that.
yes,
You know?
we're the first. Delaware is the first state, but like it's the second smallest. So like you can, it's just to put things into perspective for people who are listening. I can get from the north, the very top of Delaware to the very south of Delaware in 3 hours. And that's all of Delaware, you know?
I mean, like, I think I can get to them in Rhode Island in like an hour. I don't know.
See?
Like,
And so we're amongst people who are like just stuck in their own ways, are very, very okay with the mundane in their life. And I would feel like that would be like a prison for me. Like even as a therapist, I'm like already thinking about how I'm going to start a YouTube channel because I'm like,
oh, you
I can
have
actually
to.
spread. Yeah, I'm like, I can actually spread my knowledge to a wider audience than to do one-on-one or like a group session because that again feels limiting. So I'm always like trying to find ways to not limit myself. And so you're already doing that. Like you're putting just the fact that you shared that you have these doubts about yourself and like these like, you know, thoughts about how you are in general in front of an audience is so like it's just so strong. I admire you for saying all that. I totally get it.
I appreciate that. I mean, yeah, I think like you said, we are our own worst critics and like it does. And I feel like I get imposter syndrome all the more I level up in my life, the more I feel like an imposter because like when I'm around like low down and out broken ass people and I can like spread the light, it like makes you feel like Jesus. Okay. And then like you level up your life and you start being around more like intelligent, successful people and like you start really feeling like, you know, when people ask me what I do and like I don't know what I do, like that question genuinely gives me so much fear and anxiety because like for so much of my life I have like defined so much of myself by like, no, I've never worked for anybody else, but like whatever business I was working on, like I always wanted to highlight that. So like it looked like it was always having something like really important going on, even if it was like really mediocre and I wasn't really working that hard and making that much money. But it's like, I don't know. It just like I feel like that imposter syndrome, like I feel like a lot of my friends can say the same thing as they level up in their lives.
Yeah,
Attract more. Yeah,
there's
like,
actually something you can say about like it's called something. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect, where like the more intelligent you become, the more you realize what you don't know. And like even like what was his Einstein said that like he knew nothing. And like at that time, or even maybe now, he's like considered a genius, but he still says, I know nothing, because the more you know, the more you'll let it know.
I really don't. I don't know shit.
And that's the thing. And then it makes it harder because then you're like criticizing yourself more. It's like you know more than the average, but then now because you know that like that's still nothing, you criticize yourself more, but it's still more than what most people know. So like it's
The
just
smartest people in the world are the most self-deprecating people in the
oh my
world.
God, they are because
Absolutely sure of it.
It's so true. It's so true. And I'm like so glad that you brought that up because I think you have to like normalize that it's okay to not have anything. It's okay to like figure it out as you go. It's okay to just like, you know, not want to work for someone. Cause that's
Can't do it.
Me. I'm like, I have to follow rules now. I'm like, oh my God, no. Like I'd rather not make much, but have my freedom, have my mind, be able to like think the way I want, behave the way that I want, and like make something of myself, whatever that means, than to like have to follow someone's rules and their agenda. And I actually ended up quitting my jobs when I was working in addiction treatment because I couldn't talk about psychedelics. I couldn't talk about Ibogaine, which is like what helps people actually get rid of their addiction. So I'm like, how can I work for a company that limits what I can share. And so like I want to say like to anyone who doesn't want to work for someone who doesn't know what they're doing, like that is so okay, especially in this day and age. We are not baby boomers.
No, we're not. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and I like that you said like it's okay, like you don't like
Yeah.
it's okay to make less and be happy because I feel like there is such like a
Yeah, and like you know what?
stigma to that, you know?
I want to like highlight this book. And I mean, I've listened to the audiobook. And I can't say it was like very, very like catching, but I tend to like to listen to like neuroscience to kind of like back up the woo-woo that I believe in, because I do believe in like spiritual stuff.
Oh
And
yeah,
so,
like me too. Very spiritual,
yeah.
like the logical as
Me
well.
too. And
Yeah.
like I found this book called Magic Mind that talks all about manifestation and like how neuroscience has proven that like the way we think actually does help us manifest. So it's not just woo woo. It's not just like let's set our intentions and let's meditate on what we want and visualize it. No, visualization has been proven to a science to be true when it comes to manifestation. So if you are working and you don't know like how you're going to make ends meet because you're an entrepreneur and you don't want to work for others, start to visualize it, start to visualize what you want. And like this world is so abundant, so like it's gonna come from somewhere, it's going to happen. It really will. Like you will, I mean, even like now I feel like Layla, like we manifested each other because
We
we're
totally
both
did.
on the East Coast, and like we're both Persian, and you are looking for friends and I have a community. I'm like, all right, there you go. Like
I literally feel so much better about coming for whatever reason. I mean, I always
yeah, you
felt
are
good
not
about
alone.
it, but like I feel like this whole conversation has alleviated so much of my anxiety about moving, just like even
Yeah, and you know what? You started with like an idea or like just the plan of moving. You didn't know how that was you're going to form a community. I'm actually like I actually am starting my first wellness event is on the 15th of February, where I have a community of 75 people already, with my friend Moriel. And so like that is what I do. That is what I like to do. And it's like you just got connected to someone who thrives off of building community and you're looking for that. So this is a testament to show that like you don't have to have a
manifestation.
plan. You manifest it with your thoughts. You just put the thought out there and then it just comes to you in ways. And that's what makes life so magical.
It really does.
You
Life
know?
really is so magical, and I feel like we all need to like realize the magic more, especially I don't know, I've been, I feel like I've been grieving a lot for like all the chaotic things going on right now.
Oh my
The
God,
fucking
yeah.
LA fires knocked my soul out of my chest, and it's like when like and the
Very.
world is gonna just keep kind of throwing things because like we're on a shifting point to get back into spiritual. We're shifting, we're transforming into a higher frequency of earth, I would tend to believe, which means like a lot of systems are falling apart, and I think it's coming like really fast at us right now. And I think like sometimes we get so wrapped up in that we forget the magic, and we can't forget the magic because it all really is so magic.
It is so magical. And even with like, and it's so hard. And I understand like the pain that a lot of people who are losing their homes or have lost their homes are dealing with when it comes to like the LA fires. But what I also have seen is like a community coming together. I've also seen people really giving acts of service or like, giving in this moment and showing up for others. And it just kind of goes back to like how we should be. We should have a collective culture where people don't feel alone. People don't feel like they're doing it all on their own, you know? So I think, like you said, we are experiencing these shifts, and they are painful, but I don't think people would move and actually change if they didn't experience pain, right? Like
A
you
thousand
don't have
percent.
that. You don't have,
Yes.
what's the point? If you're not unhappy and you're not, uncomfortable, how do you expect yourself to take a different approach to life and take a different action to get to where you want to be? And through that, there's like a growth gift. There's like a lesson that you're learning. And so I think like all the low moments are also very, very like good to consider as like good moments,
Yeah, like, yeah, they're like the most pivotal.
They are.
Pivotal. That
They
wasn't even
transform
a word.
us. They suck
Pivotal.
though. They suck, but it's like here, we're not going to move around if we're happy all the time. We're not going to do anything, right? If we're not uncomfortable.
1,000%. Like, I feel like, yeah, all of our greatest growth comes from the darkest dregs of hell.
Exactly. Especially when it comes to like romance, right? Like who wants to go through a heartbreak? But then you level up and you set your expectations and, you just you give yourself more love and you don't accept BS because you went through it already, right?
And then you level up to the point where you feel like you'll probably be alone, single forever because your expectations are so rock high. Like
my expectations are so high right now. They're at the ceiling, and I'm like, well,
no one's gonna meet them, and like I don't need them to because I enjoy my own company so much, and I provide myself with pretty much everything other than like a little more community I could lose. So it's like, yeah. With relationships, I just don't know. I don't know who the fuck, what kind of God would like meet my expectations, but like probably none.
The same way I feel like that right now. But you know what? When that person does meet my expectations, then I'll know that that's the one.
Right. Yes. Set them so high that you can't have any doubts. There's no.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? My expectations are going to weed out the BS. They're going to weed out filter all the ones that do not belong. Because you know what? At the end of the day, we have to remember men are designed to be hunters. They're always going to come after you because you have what they want.
Right.
So they're going to mask, they're going to lie, they're going to manipulate, they're going to gaslight because you have the power. You have what they want. Exactly. So you have to protect yourself. You have to set expectations. Otherwise, you're just going to be left with anxiety, insecurity, feelings of insecurity, and like just a mental distress. And I'm done. I'm like, my health is number one. You do not come in. You do not disrupt my peace.
No one gets to disrupt my peace anymore. Yeah. Not a single fucking soul.
Oh my God.
I love that.
Yeah, I just I'm like, abundance. At the end of the day, that's like my favorite word right now, abundance. So yes, high expectations, but I'm gonna have an abundant amount of men lined up who are gonna meet those, and I'm gonna have choices and options.
Yeah, I agree with that. I will, but like, bro, I don't even want that right now. I'm like,
oh, I mean, listen, if someone like Flavor Flav do you remember that show?
I do.
Or Brett Michaels. If these people can have like girls, if they can have people after them and doing anything, I'm just like look, anything's possible.
Anything is possible, honestly. Yeah. Expectations are really high, and again, they want what we have, but I'm not sure I want anything that they have to offer.
Exactly. And you're gonna have to have it all, honey.
Because I'm really
You're gonna have to like alleviate and like make my life easier.
Because that's what. Yeah, you're gonna have to like not add any stress to my life. You're gonna have to take stress away.
And that's what I feel like. That's what real men want to do. They want to cater to you. They want to provide. Like,
I've just
you're not doing that.
I'm never
ever doing that. You're goodbye.
Truly goodbye. But I've still never met one who does that in the real
life. Well, it's out there, and when it happens, then you know that is the one.
I like that. That's good relationship advice.
Yeah. Don't ever like it's honestly self-neglect, and you're self-sacrificing if you give up your expectations for somebody else. Like nobody's doing that for us, so why do we get to do that for them? And I mean, if you find yourself as a person sacrificing your needs to meet somebody else's or to think that they will stay in your life for doing that, then there's some type of trauma and there's some type of like lesson that you need to like grow through within this, because that is not meant to be for you. Like you are not meant to ever neglect yourself for somebody else for you to feel loved.
No.
So no, it's not okay.
It's not okay. Never water yourself down. Never compromise your belief systems or anything for anybody else. Never worth it in the end, and you end up losing yourself. And who the fuck wants to lose themselves?
And then you end up resenting them and resenting your choices and your actions. And it's like, just keep clear from that. Find hobbies, dude. Find friendships. Friends last forever.
I honestly, I admire that you're that fucking bored in your life that you can have time for that, whoever's doing that, because, I don't even have time
I know.
don't have time to
I don't.
have
I
those
don't have time
problems.
for the BS.
I
No.
wish I had time for more hobbies, you know? Not that that's a good hobby, but I don't even have time for more hobbies. I mean, I kind of do, kind of don't. Kind of do, kind of don't, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I can tell you're so brilliant and you just have so much going on. Are you a Gemini?
No, I know.
No?
I'm a
You have
Taurus.
Geminis in your chart?
I am a Taurus sun. I think I'm a Gemini.
I'm a Taurus sun too.
Oh, really? Oh
May
my God.
15th. Yeah.
Okay, I'm April 20th. So I'm on the cusp of Aries though, and I have a fuck ton of Aries in my chart. So
Oh, wow. Yeah, I have my Venus is in Aries.
okay.
So, yeah.
Same.
Lessons, but I learned a lot of lessons there because we
Oh,
fall. We
God.
love we love hard and we
We
fall.
love
Like,
so hard and
yeah.
so
So now I'm like, pump the brakes.
no, I like honestly I don't fucking have time for that shit right now. I don't have time, energy, or space for that shit right now. I'm just trying to move and build a community and find girls to go to dinner with.
Oh yeah. Well, you've already found it. We're gonna
Yeah, so like I guess we have to move on to the next task at hand.
yeah,
Like
find the list of restaurants you want to go to because
oh my God, all of them. I'm like, I literally called my cousin the other day. I was like, I know that like I can like meet people. I was like, I just need people to go on dinner.
Aww.
Like all I want is friends who understand me to get dinner with.
There's also, you ever use Bumble BFF?
No.
So Bumble BFF, like you can find friends on there, like you go to dinners with them or like little events with them. I never had luck with that. Like I
I just
met like
feel like apps freak me out, like to
they
meet
do.
boys
Yeah.
or friends. Like it just like I don't know, it just feels so there's something off.
I know.
I
Most
know it
people
works
are.
for some people, but I feel like if I don't meet someone naturally in the wild or like on my podcast or something, I just like don't want it. Like I like
Yeah, I
it
know.
feels like too much effort. It feels like I don't know.
And then like you usually just end up becoming pen pals on these apps, and then you're just like, well, what's the
Right.
point? Are we not?
Yeah. And I like also hate texting. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to like text get to know you. Like I have other shit going on in my life, but I don't want to be like a keyboard warrior.
Oh my God, there's such a thing about like seeing someone's body language, eye contact, like hearing their voice, like the presence of that person and their
Yeah.
essence is seen through the physical. So yeah, text is so limiting. I totally get it.
Like, yeah, just won't do it. Like
Uh-uh.
text to like make some quick plans, cool. But if
Yeah.
you want to have the goddamn like pick up the fucking phone and call me because I'm not
Right.
like
Right.
I'm not
See,
doing
there's
it.
confidence. There's confidence in your conversation skills, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that should be.
I feel like if you weren't confident in the way you presented and like the way you talk, you wouldn't want to meet people and you would be like a game. Not that gamers are all like this, but like some people are really just comfortable with being behind the screen and like texting and chatting that way, and and that's totally fine, but it's not you.
No, definitely not me. Well, it's been about an hour, so I could
Yeah.
talk to you all day, but
I do have to go too.
yeah. So where can we are you taking clients right now? Where just shut
Oh yeah. So
obviously like I'll put all the notes in the episode, but just shut yourself out real quick.
yeah, so you can find me on my website, www.zahraadloo.com. I'm mostly on Instagram at ZeeShirazi, so Z Shirazi. And, my Instagram is really like for you to see my personality and to feel who I am. And you can always DM me on there or just like message me or email me through my website, and I'll be available for clients who are interested in going on an Ibogaine journey if they're tackling
I
it.
want to go on an Ibogaine journey.
I hope that you do, because it's like it is transformative. It's exclusive. It's expensive, it's exclusive. Not many people have access to it. So it's a privilege if you're called to it. And yeah, so if anyone feels like they're suffering from addiction, if they're suffering from just any mental health disorders, just contact me and we'll walk through it, and I'll give you my recommendations as to what you should do to help alleviate your symptoms and your issues.
Yay. Well, thank
Hey,
you.
thanks for listening, everyone. That was a cool combo.
That was great. Yeah,
I love this is probably my favorite one.
no, because
I swear it's my favorite because it flowed and I felt like I could be like me, like I like really could be like myself. I'm not like presenting or I'm not it's not scripted or anything like that. It just felt like it went the way it needed to.
I
So
love that. That's always
I
my goal
appreciate you.
here, to just have us all be authentic.
Yeah.
The Layla Show.